Здравствуйте, друзья! Мы продолжаем серию наших фрукторианских интервью здесь на фрукторианском фестивале Hawaii Woodstock Fruit Festival 2015, 2015 год, апрель. И серия интервью, которые мы сделали специально для еженедельника «Аргументы недели». Это серия интервью с наиболее интересными людьми, наиболее успешными, длительными фрукторианцами, сыроедами, которыми нам удалось встретиться, познакомиться здесь, на этом фруктовом фестивале. И сегодня у нас в гостях, я вам представляю Криса Кендалла. Крис Кендалл довольно известная фигура в этих кругах. Те из вас, кто смотрел, может быть, его видео или когда-то участвовал в каких-то подобного рода программах. Более 10 лет уже, наверное, Крис является фрукторианцем. Он сам из Канады. Он учитель йоги, то есть преподает йогу, и здесь на фестивалях всегда проходят его мастер-классы, которые называются кендалини-йога. Те, кто занимается йогой, поймут суть шутки, связанной с его фамилией и видом йоги, который он преподает. И также Крис является спортсменом, он занимается скейтбордингом с детства и до сих пор занимается, серьезно катается и также учит этому других людей на своих различных выездных семинарах. Крис также сыроедный шеф-повар, то есть тот, кто готовит гурманскую сыроедную еду, но в ее низкожировом, здоровом варианте. И также здесь на фруктовом фестивале можно отведать каких-то его блюд, он делает какие-то имитации тайской еды, мексиканской еды, и мы вчера все здесь это дегустировали. А также Крис является зарегистрированным, то есть дипломированным специалистом по естественному питанию и, соответственно, проводит ретриты и помогает людям перейти на здоровое питание и как-то улучшить свое здоровье посредством здоровой натуральной диеты. Каждый год Крис зимой проводит в Коста-Рике ретриты, выездные семинары длительные, где люди питаются по фрукторианской диете, где он обучает их серфингу, занимается с ними йогой, простраивает им индивидуальную, наиболее подходящую им диету, учит скейтбордингу и вот такие вот комплексные мероприятия. Поэтому сейчас я перейду на английский, у вас пойдут ниже субтитры, задам Крису несколько наводящих вопросов, и он нам побольше расскажет о себе. So, hi Chris, I just briefly introduced you to our Russian audience, and I wanted to first of all maybe ask you a few basic facts about yourself. Like, how old are you, where are you from, what was your life before, how did you become a fruitarian, for how many years, how did it affect your life, what changes it brought to your life, and then we'll get right.
Awesome. Well, blessed to be here, blessed to connect with you guys and with you for sure, and thank you for that intro. Not 100% sure what you said, so I hope it was nice things, But yeah, my name's Chris Kendall. I was born in 1980 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, so I'm 34 years old. And I grew up a skateboarder, which I heard you kind of mention, and that was my biggest purpose and passion in life, And by the time I was 17, 18, around that time I was eating fast food and really crappy food, and my parents raised me on a pretty standard diet with meat and potatoes and all that kind of stuff. And when I moved out, that's when I really started hitting the bottle a lot, smoking cigarettes and smoking weed and eating fast food and pizzas and everything non-stop. And it didn't take long for me to feel really crappy and to kind of get depressed, and part of that was because my skateboarding was going a little bit downhill, not because I couldn't do it physically or because I couldn't perform, but more so because my joints and my knees and stuff started hurting more because I was eating such crappy food, So that led me into health. That led me into reading a book called Fit for Life, which really expounded on food combining, going vegetarian, raw food, vegan, as well as ditching desserts and just eating fruit as the dessert for the meal, And that absolutely changed my life, and that was the starting point, which was now about 16 years ago. That's when I really started to change my life for the better in terms of health and being more conscious about what I was saying, thinking, and doing, as well as with what I was eating.
And formally you switched to fruitarian diet 10 years ago, you said, yeah?
Yeah, just over 10.
What did you read? What inspired you?
Well, what happened was about around maybe 12 years ago, I started thinking hey, I want to become a vegetarian vegan chef. And I couldn't find any schools that didn't make you also do meat and taste the meat and figure that all out. And I was like, no. And the only school that was close was in France or in somewhere else that it wasn't possible for me to do. So my secondary calling was nutrition, which I'd been studying for 5 years at that point almost. And I chose to go to a school called CSNN, Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in Vancouver, Canada. And when I first went there, I went full vegan and I was eating high raw. And then 6 months into the schooling, I went to a vegan health festival called A Taste of Health. And Dr. Douglas Graham, the author of the 80-10-10 diet, was presenting there. He was among 3 other raw food presenters. I don't remember the other 2 raw food presenters. I went to one picture. He did it, yeah. Like I went to his second talk and he just blew me away. I was just like, wow, this just makes sense. So I'd read some other books by David Wolfe and other people, and they had their place, they had some stuff, but it never was clear to me. It never made 100% sense and it wasn't fun, you know? So I listened to Doug and I ended up going to 2 more of his classes that day. And by the end of the day, I like talked to him afterwards, and he gave me the ins and outs of everything. He hadn't even written 80-10-10 yet, or it wasn't out yet, you know, because that's over 10 and a half years ago now. And he just basically was like, I was like, hey, I want to be a professional skateboarder. I want to feel better. I want to have more endurance. I want to recover better. And he was like, just do this. And he took me under his wing, really. And the next day, I went 100% raw.
And that book that Chris talks about, that's the book we're about to publish, The 80-10-10 Diet by Dr. Douglas Graham. We'll publish it in Russian in a few coming months. It's a long-awaited book, but we are on our way. So you guys will be also able to read the full form of it in Russian soon.
That's great. I've been studying nutrition for 16 years. I've met a lot of raw foodists, a lot of Ayurvedists, a lot of people from different backgrounds, and I think as a generality for raw food, holistic health, it's the best book out there, very honestly. There are other books that cover a little bit more in depth with certain points, but it's an amazing book that you can't help but just feel like this makes sense, you know?
So how did it affect your sport performance, your general life, your emotional life, your spiritual life, your growth development, whatever?
You know, it's amazing because, you know, like I said, while I did really open up when I started looking into health, before that I was a seeker, I was a spiritual seeker, you know, but I didn't understand the connection between food and how much of an impact that makes. And every step I took, from junk food to, you know, more vegetarian to full vegetarian to vegan, then to raw vegan, had its benefits. But seriously, within 24 hours of going 100% raw and simple, low-fat, high-fruit raw, I felt more connection, more bliss, more just like gratitude for life than ever. It was like, it created a Satori moment where my heart just burst open. And that first day, I remember walking down the streets in Vancouver, looking at people and not seeing people, seeing myself, you know, seeing like just love and just like tears running down my eyes, just like, it was just a huge heart opener, you know? It was a Satori, it was amazing, and I was just on cloud 9, and I just felt like just ultimate bliss, connection, love, and just utmost gratitude. And
that's when yoga came into your life, right?
You know what, that takes a step back a little bit. I got into yoga before I got into raw food, and before I even got into health. I started getting into yoga when I was about 18, and I just got a video by Rodney Yee, like a power yoga class, you know, and I started doing it religiously, and I started reading about yoga, and it mentioned, you know, like vegetarianism and how like that affects your consciousness and your karma and like macrobiotics and all this stuff, and I was like, wow, that really makes a difference, hey? Like, before that I didn't care. I was eating pizzas and ice cream all day and like laughing at people choosing to eat like vegetables. I was like, you guys are crazy. And that led me into health, because it's like, oh, it opened up the door to like, wow, that could make a difference. And then I found that Fit for Life book, and boom, it just really took off.
Right. And so in general, you felt better, your skateboarding went better, your yoga classes?
My knee pain went away, you know, my endurance went up, my positivity went up. You know, I did, because I had treated myself so poorly for a while, I had some issues. It took a little while to fully reverse, you know, but I just all of a sudden I went from feeling lazy and not wanting to do much to all of a sudden like being able to bike for 3 hours a day and skateboard for 2 hours a day, and you know, I was just a more positive, happy person, and lighter too, you know, both spiritually, energetically, and physically.
So you feel happy on that diet and you want to continue and don't see any faults in it, any shortcomings?
10 and a half years in, you know, I mean, I've had ups and downs in certain ways, but the thing that I find to be the biggest challenge with anyone applying a raw food diet is A, understanding it and having faith in it, and then B, understanding that when you're eating such a high-vibing, you know, really robust, vibrant diet, that it asks us to look at every dark corner in our being, and a lot of emotional stuff comes up. And most of us, how to deal with it, yeah, like, I mean, all of us, right from the boot, we're taught to eat food for comfort. The baby's crying, eat food for comfort, you know, so that takes a long while to get over, and when we realize that is not really the best coping mechanism, food. You know, we have to develop other ways to cope, and that takes time. And there's going to be some back and forth, and there's going to be someone shouting in your ear that fruit is too much this, or that you have to eat that. So there's like those moments of doubt, which I've gone through, and then come through the other side. And I'm more than convinced. I mean, I've been working full-time as a raw food holistic nutritionist and coaching hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've seen people reverse MS, cancer, diabetes, joint problems, depression, like almost any condition you can think of through applying a simple raw food diet, as well as applying the principles of healthy living and natural hygiene / holistic living.
I'll be giving the link to his website, and maybe you just mention it.
For sure, yeah. You guys can find me at therawadvantage.com. That's my main website, and I got loads of stuff there. Lots of free ebooks just for signing up to my mailing list. All the stuff I offer, whether it's consultations or ebooks, I offer by donation, and fun T-shirts and lots more stuff we can talk about.
Yeah, and also Chris got a great app.
iPhone app.
Yeah, iPhone app, and I got his recipe book. I bought it on App Store, and I'm sometimes choosing some salad dressings and things in there.
It's lots of fun
It's a
stuff.
great application, yeah.
Like I said, I've been into chefing for a really long time, and I really love to share my favorite food, you know. And I was really blessed with that app. Found a group that wanted to work together, and we really came together with it cool. So it's like a free app with 2 in-app purchases now. But every single new book I create, which I have 5 others on the go, get added into the app, and that way, like, you know, you can buy my ebooks by donation, but on the app they're at the lowest price because the App Store makes you do that. So it's like $2.99 and $3.99 for a book that has a lot of cool functionality. So
and it's all low-fat, raw vegan, so it's not a gourmet fatty stuff that makes you sick and feel unwell next morning and like being with a hangover. So that's the good recipes. I highly recommend them. And say a few words about the T-shirts and stuff you're making, yeah, because a lot of people in New York and here are dressed in your fruit loves, peace love seasonal fruit and bandanas and caps and stuff.
Well, I feel really blessed by my amazing graphic designer, Kat Candera, and you know, we just talked. You know, she was actually looking for information on a raw food diet, and we lived together for 3 days, and I helped coach her. And then she was like, you know what, I want to help you out. And we talked about kind of the concepts and ideas that we wanted to put together. Peace, love, and seasonal fruit has been my catchphrase. It's been my sign out for about 10 years, honestly. And I didn't say anything about peace, love, and seasonal fruit shirts, but she all of a sudden made that. And then she also made my Don't Have a Cow, Go Bananas, which I gave her my original design, and 100% raw vegan power, which I have on the hats. And you know, I got like 10 different T-shirts, but the most popular seemed to be the Don't Have a Cow, Go Bananas, and these peace, love, and seasonal fruit. And yeah, you can find them all at therawadvantage.com, and
Yeah,
I feel
you can order them online and buy a piece for you.
Yeah.
They're great. And also, how do you like those festivals? I keep seeing you, like I saw you in 2013 in upstate New York, I saw here, I think you're present everywhere. So what do you think about these festivals? I'm asking this because we are about to start something similar in Russia, in Crimea next year. What will be first such an event in Russia. So can you pitch for such an event and say why it's important for people to gather, to socialize in this circle?
For sure, I think it's really important. I think it's really beneficial because, you know, when you come to a festival, you meet so many like-minded people who are on the same path and may have just a little bit of a different story, a little bit of a different perspective, or a little bit of a different preference for how they eat. And that way you really get a feel for how you want to do it, you know. And I've been now to generally between 3 and 5 festivals a year all over the world. You know, last year I was in New York and the UK and Slovenia. And
You go to Denmark?
Denmark, yeah. And this year I'm really excited. I'm going to be going to the Denmark Fresh Fruit Festival.
UK Fruit Festival?
I won't make it this year to UK, but I'm going to Denmark. I'm also going to Sweden, and then I'm also going to Arizona to the Pure Living Expo, and I'm also going to the New York one again. And they're awesome.
Yeah, once we are done with this Crimea Fruitarian Festival in Russia, please come, and that's a great place to feel like in this fruitarian family, feel support and psychological comfort, especially in the transition phase. And maybe just say a few words about your activities. Like I heard that you have a retreat camp kind of thing, fitness, nutrition in Costa Rica. Maybe pitch for that, and maybe some people knowing about that will join it one day.
Great, no, that'd be cool. I mean, I'd love to see you guys out in Russia or at one of my retreats. You know, anywhere I can go and spread the love, it's an absolute pleasure. And My retreats, I've done them in Mexico, I've done them in Costa Rica. Right now, I think for the next year, I already have set up 2 retreats. One is a raw food yoga rehabilitation skateboard retreat, and it's at a center that has an amazing half pipe, and that'll be in January at the very end. And then my second one is a raw food yoga surf adventure retreat, and that one's in March. So you can learn more at therawadvantage.com, possibly when this comes out in a couple of weeks or a month. It'll be up on my website, so you can make reservations, and it's lots of fun because the one part you really learn about is, kind of some of the facts about raw food, how to really apply it. Then you also learn about, the social emotional awareness and having connection and stuff like that, as well as you get a lot of tips how to make food. We make food together, and then, of course, the yoga and the surfing or the skateboarding.
Great. So, thank you very much, Chris. Was
Absolute pleasure, man.
very informative and brief and very intense. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you maybe as a raw food, low-fat, raw vegan chef one day at one of the Russian festivals.
That'd be awesome, man. I'd be blessed by it. Definitely.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you.
Much love, guys.
Пока.